Kim Kardashian is horrible.
So by now, we all know the story of the men who have fallen to the Kardashian
Okay,
empire.
no. I want this one. I want this one. I don't know if I want that one, bro. You know what I'm saying? I do not know if I want that one, bro. I don't know. But I definitely want,
Empire. The list includes...
Fuck. Oh my God. Stars.
So by now, we all...
So, number one, feel me? 2 and 3. This is for my man Travis. I'm not A. I backed off, gang. I backed off. You got that. Okay?
all know the story of the men who have fallen to the Kardashian empire. The list includes Bruce Jenner, Lamar Odom, and recently Kanye West, amongst many more. But few know the story of another man who alleges to have his life ruined by the Kardashians, the same family who will seemingly do anything for power, money, and social status. Today I'm here to tell you the story of David Libenson, who claims that Kim and her mother Kris stole his idea right from under his nose, and then they turned around and used this idea to make profits in the millions of dollars. This is how Kim Kardashian ruined his life. To truly understand this story, you have to go back to 2014. Isn't it hard to believe that that was almost a decade ago? Things were a lot different back then, and social media specifically was really just beginning to hit its stride, and the idea of a social media influencer being something someone would seriously consider as a job was becoming more and more real by the day. In short, people of all ages were now spending more time than ever on their cell phones, and specifically on social media. And so at the time, the App Store might as well have been seen like the gold rush, as every app developer was trying to hit it big with the next Flappy Bird, or really any app where they could peddle ads or push microtransactions onto users. And this is where David comes in. He was an app developer who had helped create Sensorgram, an app that allowed users to add keywords, emojis, and phrases, and automatically remove unwanted comments left on their Instagram page.
We had a pretty large following on Instagram, and we were having a hard time keeping up with our own feed. So what we did was we created an app named Sensorgram we put on the App Store to help manage unwanted spam and bullying, hate from any social media comment in your feeds.
Daniel claims that Kim was a big fan of this app, which would make sense considering celebrities would likely need automated comment moderation that Instagram did not yet have. Daniel claims that she was such a big fan, in fact, that she wanted to meet up with him to discuss a partnership that would make her the face of Sensorgram.
Kim called.
What?
We had a phone, I think it was like a 40-minute phone call, and discussed many things, like how she wanted to get involved with something against bullying.
And apparently that's exactly what they did. Daniel says they set up this meeting, and eventually after some time negotiating, agreed to a 60-40 split for Kim to represent the app. And he claims that during that meeting is when he pitched yet another idea that he coined as Kymanijb, explaining that they loved the idea and were all in on a 50-50 split. The concept was basically emojis or emoticons that centered around Kim Kardashian and her likeness. You had Kris in there, you had Kanye, you had Bruce, and basically everything else going on within the Kim Kardashian universe. You really have to understand that at the time, the concept of emojis was still pretty novel, especially in the sense where you would use someone else's images to create these emoticons. And so Daniel says that both he and his business partners were elated by this meeting, as they felt like they had just struck gold, being that they would now be in partnership with one of the most famous people in the world, who was no stranger to selling her massive audience on various products. And it's crazy because it seemed like once they finally reached that peak of the mountaintop, this is when he says the nightmare actually began. But before that, I want to tell you guys about a nightmare that's affecting people all around the world. And that is identity theft and data leaks. But thankfully, the sponsor of today's video, Aura, is dark dress wet to a like ice.
you.
Comply with
You're
Grace
good.
Brown
You're
reactions
good.
code. I think or he says Kim personally asked him if he had filed the trademark for Kymanijb, and he says because they were using her likeness and image, he felt it would be appropriate to file the trademark together. And then a couple minutes after she allegedly confirmed that they had not filed this trademark, Daniel claims that Kim called him back demanding answers about who was Ryan and why was he spreading information about the business dealings that had been going on between the two parties, along with a couple of screenshots of text messages from his business partner that he had sent to an outside party just basically saying that he was excited to work with the Kardashians.
Right.
Basically, this guy Ryan had sent out a brag text, and whoever was on the receiving end of that text message was apparently very jealous and wanted to do everything that they can to disrupt this business deal. And that's exactly what happened.
Yo, that
as
meme
these
is so fucking
screenshots
funny,
were
bro.
apparently enough ammunition
I
to
need
really
that
put the
jump,
ball back into the Kardashian court.
A text message that apparently my partner Narayan had sent, supposed to have been private to one of his friends, made its way to Jonathan Chebin, and Kim kept that in her pocket, I guess, to use against us because it breached her privacy, she said. Even though there was nothing harmful, but it just gave her that excuse, I guess.
And so Daniel says that because of this invasion of privacy, Kim's team was now threatening to sue them for $5 million if they did not
What?
hand over the trademark for Kymanijb,
What?
as well as the intellectual property for his other app Sensagram I mentioned earlier, which was already a small-scale success.
Sent their bulldog attorney after us to basically threaten to sue us for $5 million each.
$5 million.
And lose everything we had. I had a
Wow.
home. I was doing fairly well at the time. You know, I busted my butt to get what I had. And they threatened to sue us.
He then explains that his two business partners willingly signed over both Kymanijb and Sensagram, all out of fear of losing everything and getting absolutely destroyed in court, all while he refused to sign. And to make a long story short, Daniel claims that Kim went on to make millions of dollars
I
off
know
of the
she
Kymanijb
did.
app
I know
over the
she
next
did.
few years. When it initially launched, it was receiving over 9,000 downloads each second, meaning they were apparently making over $1 million a minute from this venture.
Do you use emojis?
She hates emojis.
No, I love emojis.
You told me if
You
Sid.
do? Well, it's a little
so
dramatic
bad.
for just an everyday
Kim is
text
so
message
bad.
situation.
If Kourtney Kardashian thought regular emojis were too much, then she's going to hate Kimojis. Yes, Kim-ojis. Kim
Don't
Kardashian has launched her own emoji app.
All while Daniel
Started
went on
that.
to lose everything from his life savings to his house and even his family, as he claims he was put into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt trying to take Kim Kardashian to court for both theft and fraud. He says she also intervened with his patent he had filed for a process that is still apparently being used by Instagram till this day, as they ended up integrating a similar function to his app Sensagram into the actual Instagram interface. And the last thing he claims on his website is that this is not the first time Kim has been accused of these types of shady practices in playing
Motherfuckers
bully
just
ball with
ignore it,
small
I'm telling you.
businesses. And so now we fast forward to 9 years later, and this guy Daniel was homeless,
Kardashian
he's living in his car,
freemylife.com.
he lost
What the
his
fuck?
family, and in his own words, he has essentially had his entire life destroyed. And so now he's taken to the internet to really try and fight back, as he has really been trying to push this story into the mainstream atmosphere and has gone on this organic TikTok campaign centered around his website, KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com. That's where I got this information from, as he seeks to make his story known.
On top of it all, Kim and Chris kicked me while I was down and sent process servers to serve me with paperwork that I need to pay their legal fees, and they were like harassing
What?
my family. It was
You gotta
pretty,
pay their legal
brutal,
fees.
the whole situation. But that's where it was left, and finally I had nothing to lose. So got to the point where I was living in my car, and I just decided, screw it, I'm gonna put a website together. I'm gonna explain everything in case I get hit by a bus and nobody knows the full story.
And on the
Facts.
site, he does include some screenshots of his apparent evidence. I mean, I'm sure he has to save a lot of it for the courtroom should it ever get there. And as of right now, guys, I'm really not here to pick any sides or say
Give
that
my
he's
man
right
his
at all,
mills. He
but
just
this
want the
does feel like
mills.
something that Kim Kardashian at the very least should address. Because this guy is pretty much alleging that she essentially took his life's work, stole it, and then turned around and made massive profit off of it. But y'all let me know what you guys think about this whole situation down below. As always, I do want to thank you guys for
Wow. Ooh. Great place to, you know what I'm saying, to end off at. Oh my goodness.